About 3 weeks ago, I attempted a hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon Sword using Galarian forms only. And you guys seem to enjoy that one, so I decided to do a hardcore Nuzlocke of a game that also has regional forms, Pokemon Sun. In this game, we have 9 Alolan forms to choose from, and here they are on screen. This was tough because we have a whole bunch of dark types and a big weakness to ground types. Unfortunately, we don't get to use Sand Slash due to it being in Moon, but we'll just have to deal with that. Here's the rules on screen if you want to pause for them, and as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to slap the like button, turn on noties, and subscribe to the channel for more. We just hit 10,000 subscribers, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. Well anyways, let's start this, shall we? Shut up, I'm trying to sleep, Meowth. Man, I tell you guys, the beginning of these games are a nightmare to go through, especially if we lose and I have to do it all over again. I may or may not have already restarted this once or twice. I love how in these games we see this legendary literally save us at the start. Swoops in like an Avenger and saves my life. I am eternally grateful.
We are eternally grateful.
I did choose Rowlet, but of course we'll box him later, and our first encounter is going to be a Pichu on Route 1. Pichu isn't his Alolan form yet, but I'm still going to use him for the entire time anyways. I name him Ronald, and he has a naive nature. Since we have our little Pichu, I immediately take on Hao, which also has a Pichu. I just Thunder Shock away as he tail whips and charms. Eventually I do knock him out, and we take on Popplio pretty healthy and use Thunder Shock. It does about half, but since our defense was lowered, his pound does an insane amount of damage. Luckily we are faster, so one more Thunder Shock can end our first rival fight. Let me know, do you guys like Hao or Hop better? After this we can get our next encounter, that being Rattata. I'm going to catch this one on Route 1 as well, but I always consider this to be a different location because it says Hau'oli Outskirts. I catch her and name her Luna, and she has a relaxed nature. She also has Hustle as her ability, which is good and bad since we can miss moves now. From here we can go to the trainer school, which I also count as a different encounter, so I catch an Alolan Meowth, who we name Draco. He's lax by nature and has the pickup ability, which will turn into Fur Coat, which has physical moves taken. Pretty decent. Glad to know this guy in Sun and Moon is just as annoying as in Ultra Sun and Moon. He even poisoned my Luna, and all we had to do was quick attack. But since we have Hustle, we have a chance to miss, and Ronald is still healthy, so a Thunder Shock finishes him. After changing our clothes and our hairstyle, we can get ourselves another encounter in Hau'oli City, that being Grimer. We name her Ginny, and she's calm by nature. I almost had another scare with Alima, and I knew he was going to heal, but of course we miss and have to switch. Luckily though, we flinched twice in a row with Draco, and that's the battle. Good job, Draco. Now Meowth does evolve by friendship, so after running around a bit, we can evolve him easily, and now we have a fully evolved Pokemon super early. Our first trial isn't too difficult, but I kind of played Ronald's life by charming, and once Young Goose came out, I sweet kissed Gumshoes. They both left us at 3 HP popping our Citrus Berry, but fortunately they didn't crit, and our Fur Coat Draco can come out to take no damage. And a Fake Out crits Young Goose while Gumshoes just scary faces us. After, a bite can destroy Young Goose, and Gumshoes super fangs us, popping our Citrus Berry. This thing can't do anything to us, so after many bites, Donald Trump is finally down. Pichu does level up to level 13, learning Nasty Plot, and right after evolves into Pikachu, learning Electro Ball. This is crucial for the Grand Trial. We need both Nasty Plot and Electro Ball, and Nasty Plot is exclusive to Pichu, and Electro Ball is exclusive to Pikachu, at the exact same level. Now on the way out, I got hit by one of these guys, and holy shit, that's a shiny Young Goose. What the hell, that is so lucky. I did a poll to see if you guys would be okay with me using it, and the majority said it was okay. I mean, technically, it's an Alolan form, right? Because it's from Alola, technically. But I didn't use him until later, and I named him Snape. Anyways, we can actually get an encounter here, Diglett. I caught her and named her Hermione because she's going to have luscious hair. Our next Hao fight wasn't too hard. Pikachu got Draco super weak, and we can get in for free on Hermione. A couple of mud slaps later, his Pikachu eats dirt literally, and Popplio comes out. Obviously, we can't stay in, so I switch into Ginny, and some bites later, this fight is over. Now, I'm pretty sure the only way to win this fight is to set up with Ron, because nearly everyone else is weak to fight types. I led by using Sweet Kiss to confuse the Mankey, and he did hit himself on the first turn, which is huge. After this, I set up a Nasty Plot, and he uses Focus Energy, which by the way, is why I can't just use Charm, because he can crit. One more Nasty Plot, and thank God he hits himself once again. Since we haven't taken any damage, I know I can live a crit Karate Chop, and there it is. Ron eats his Citrus Berry, and we can get to +6, which I probably didn't even need to do, but whatever. Mankey goes down to an Electro Ball. Makuhita fakes out, but we lived, and down goes Makuhita. And his last Pokemon is that Crabrawler, but let's be real, Ron is the true wizard here. See you in the Elite Four, holla. Oops, spoilers. After that scary fight, I decided to search for Munchlaxes so I could steal their leftovers. Gross. I ended up getting 2 of them, and from here we can catch a boat to the next island. For our second trial, we run into a level 9000 edgelord. I want whatever he's having. So for Wishy-Washy, I led Ginny to see if we can get a poison with Poison Fang. And turn 1, thanks to the Tapu gods, we get a big poison as he soaks us, making us water type. What are you thinking? From here, I end up poisoning the smaller Wishy-Washy, and eventually we can knock the little one out. The poison also gets the big one to turn to a small boy, but unfortunately right after, Alomomola comes out. Now we just get Alomomola to around half with Draco, and Ron can clean up with an Electro Ball. Araquanid in the Ultra games is way harder and would have definitely taken out one of my Pokemon, if not more than just one. Those games are miserable. Oh, I wonder where Kukui is right now. Let's ask this shirtless man if he knows. Seriously, Kukui, take that Our next stop is Weather Volcano Park, and here we can get another encounter, Cubone. I name him Harry, and he has a neutral nature. Just like Pikachu, I will also be using him until he is a Marowak, because even though you're not a ghost type yet, you're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You even have a wand. I did max out his attack just to make this trial super easy for us. I also went and grabbed the wide lens from this chick so that I don't miss with my Bone Meringue. Luckily during the trial, the first Marowak didn't hurt me, and Magmar didn't do much. So by the time I fought Totem Salazzle, we take a Flame Burst, live on 4 HP, and boom. A Bone Meringue, one-shots are easy. That's what happens when you're 4 times weak to ground. One more trial left, and man did it take me a while to find the mushroom ingredient. Mallow, what the hell are you doing? So for Lurantis, I start off with a Poison Fang trying to get the poison. We don't get it, and her Razor Leaf doesn't do much to us. Trumpy comes out, and he tries to get a Supersonic off, but with that accuracy, it misses. And we can get another Poison Fang off. We get the poison, and now I Rock Tomb Trumbeak, even though we were confused. The Lurantis did heal with Synthesis, and after an X-Scissor, gets a super low, popping our Citrus Berry. After, a Rock Tomb is enough to KO the bird, while Lurantis immediately after calls the Cast Form. Come on. I don't want Ginny to die, so I go into Draco on a Solar Blade. As Cast Form sets up Sun, which is terrifying because now Weather Ball will do double the damage. I use Fake Out on Lurantis, which was a mistake because here goes that Weather Ball, and yup, there goes our Persian. I was decently healthy as well, but that Cast Form is just better, I guess. From here, the poison has whittled Lurantis down a lot, so I switch into Luna to Quick Attack, but of course, we missed. And guess what? Yeah, she heals. Really? Luckily, the Cast Form only headbutt us for the rest of the time, and Poison is really starting to tick, and after taking a brutal Solar Blade, we can kill it with a Crunch. I don't know why Cast Form didn't just use Weather Ball, but thank God. And we lived a headbutt. From here, I just switched into Ron, who took a lot of damage, so I didn't want to risk a crit. So I just went into Harry on a sunny day. Now we should live a Weather Ball, and yes, lucky number 7. Since he's a fire type now, he's a one-shot with Bone Meringue, and that's the trial, guys. Wow, that was a brutal one. The Lurantis wasn't even the problem. I probably shouldn't have killed the Trumbeak before Lurantis, but still, that was unexpected. And I really like Persian too. At level 26, Hermione evolves into 3 Hermiones, and I also added our shiny Yungoos to the team. Plumeria, what the hell is on your head? Plumeria wasn't too hard, her Golbat went down to Ron's Electro Ball, and for Zalanda, I switched into Luna. She did poison us and flame bursted us as we missed a crucial Crunch. But the turn after, we one-shot her with Crunch after nearly being taken out. Our second grand trial is up, and Olivia starts off with a Nose Pass. Since she can't do anything to Hermione, I can set up to +3 with Workup, and when the time comes, a Bulldoze takes out Nose Pass easy. And I thought we could just outspeed her Lycanroc, but we don't, and her Bite gets a super low, popping our Citrus Berry. This means this thing has EVs, and I thought Sun and Moon didn't have EVs, but I guess I was wrong. Well, she flinched us, but thankfully our ability Tangling Hair lowered her speed, so the next turn a Bulldoze is enough to KO her Lycanroc. Her last Pokemon is Boldore, and she actually tanked the hit, but she can't do much to us, so another and our grand trial has been won. This is what Donald Trump would look like if he owned a pink suit and dyed his hair pink. You know, I never noticed this, but Lusamine's hair is really weird. It curves inward, and it kind of looks like the back of a cockroach, like the wings, if they were blonde. Now the next Howl fight gives us a break in Ultra Sun when we arrive to this island, but in this game, upon getting off the boat, we immediately get into the fight, which sucks. But thankfully I had Ductrio in the front of the party. His Psychic did do a decent chunk, but a Bulldoze crits and down goes Raichu. Of course that Flareon comes out and I need to switch. Ginny comes out on a Fire Fang and come on man, a burn? I decided to stay in and risk death. Luckily no crit and we can get a Rock Tomb off for some damage and to lower his speed. Since we're super low, he's going to go for that Quick Attack and I go into Marowak for free. Now we're faster and a Boomerang finishes Flareon off. His last Pokemon is that Brione. I can't stay in and I switch into Luna, who absolutely tanks a Water EMZ. The following turn we can get a Sucker Punch off for some decent damage and a Water Gun leaves us pretty weak. I switch once again, this time into our shiny Professor Snape. We take a second Bubble Beam and pop a Citrus Berry we had on him as we accidentally press Super Fang. I was going to switch, but I pressed Super Fang again because I wasn't paying attention, and yeah, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. Sorry, Snape. Now I have a free switch into Ron, so an Electro Ball finally finishes the fight. Bro, what are you goofballs yelling at? And you guys are a bunch of numbskulls. No pun intended. In this game, we actually fight Molayne outside the 5th trial. I led Harry and I did get the thick club off of a Cubone before this, so 2 flame charges is enough to kill the Skarmory. Next up is Dugtrio, and I didn't see that he had Soccer Punch, so he did a decent chunk to us, but of course that Boomerang is enough to OHKO. His last Pokemon is Metang, and I switch into Hermione on a Bullet Punch. 2 Bulldozers later, and this fight is done. Sorry Molayne, but hopefully I gave you the motivation to be an Elite Four member one day. Right after this, I immediately take on our next trial. Instead of Togedemaru, it is a Vikavolt, and man was this an easy trial. I used Flame Charge, and oddly enough, he does have an Aqua Berry, but this thing is dumb and uses an Electric type move, and we have the Lightning Rod ability. It does call a Charger Bug, but one more Flame Charge is enough to take out the totem, and let's be real, this little bus doesn't stand a chance. That's it. That's the trial. Pathetic, Sophocles. Stick to the Festival Plaza, buddy. Our next threat after this is the big bad Guzma. And before we take him on, I went to go SOS Pichus to eventually get a Pikachu holding a Light Ball. Because we need it. It didn't take too long, thankfully, and we run into the man himself. As always, he leads his famous Gliscopod with First Impression. I protected to avoid that, and the following turn, a Light Ball boosted Electro Ball leaves him super weak and pops that emergency exit. Without the Light Ball, there's a chance we don't get him into emergency exit range. Ariados is up and I hard switch into Harry pretty much for free. He does use Sucker Punch, which puts us to half, but a single Flame Charge is enough to KO. Gliscopod comes out once again and I go into Ginny expecting a First Impression, but instead he Razor Shells. From here I bring in Luna as she tanks a Razor Shell, and now we just Sucker Punch and Guzma. You are not big and you are not bad, my friend. Stop calling yourself that. Over on Route 12, we can get another encounter, Geodude. I name him Hagrid and he's a rash nature. I immediately evolve him all the way into a Golem and he's ready to go. He looks like Hagrid, doesn't he? A little. Upon arriving in Tapu Village, we can catch a cute little Vulpix. I name her Minerva and she's a mild gal. I'm not going to use her yet because I don't want to lose her before evolving her. We can take care of our next trial right away though, and this is a tough one. Mimikyu is always tough. I let Ronnie get a Charm off on Mimikyu as it missed a big Play Rough. This allowed me to use Charm once again and take a Play Rough. From here I switch into Hermione, who can take a Play Rough and take a Nightshade. With lefties we're above half, and the following turn a Sucker Punch will do a little bit of damage from Haunter, as Hermione bulldozes to not only break the disguise on Mimikyu, but to lower his speed as well. We thankfully do not get crit by Shadow Claw, and Tangling Hair will lower Mimikyu's speed once more, which is great. Obviously I have to switch, and since they both have a chance to use their ghost moves, I switch into Luna, who is immune to them. And would you look at that? It worked. Now unfortunately I am out of Sucker Punches because I used it on the Gengar line you fight before this, and well, I just forgot to replenish the PP. I did use Crunch, but we missed, and now we're asleep from Haunter's Hypnosis while Mimikyu Play Roughed us. Luckily Haunter used Sucker Punch, which won't work since I'm asleep and Mimikyu just used Mimic. Mimikyu used Mimic. I try another and we just don't wake up, but the Sucker Punch is still going and Play Rough missed. Let's try one more time. We finally wake up and protect for some health back from lefties. Now I can finally get the Crunch off and Haunter is out of here. We take a Play Rough and protect for some health. I get a Crunch off and wow, that was laughable damage. And holy, we're almost dead. Man, this fight is taking a long time. From here I go into Harry, who gets crushed, and the following turn gets a Thief off as his Shadow Claw does crit us. Remember, this thing is still -4 attack, so a crit would ruin us. The team is looking rough, and I did try to switch into Hagrid, but he just took way too much damage, and I go straight into Ginny, who takes the hits pretty well. A Nightshade does make us pop our Citrus, as Crunch does nothing, but our own Crunch can take Gengar out in one hit. And now all we have to worry about is Mimikyu. Unfortunately, Gengar did Curse Body our Crunch, so we can't use it, and after this thing started using Astonish, so I think it ran out of Play Roughs. It also still has its Lumberry, so I used Knock Off to do more damage, and Knock Off once more for the win. Wow, that felt like a million years. On the bright side though, we didn't lose a single Pokemon. Soon after this, we find out Team Skull has robbed a Yungoos from this kid, and we of course go and help. After evolving Minerva with an Ice Stone I found, fighting many goons, and destroying Guzma's Spirit once again, we return the Yungoos and they've taken Lily. No worries, we'll get her back. No! I'm angry! Fight me! Say what? Gladian's Golbat went down no problem, but honestly I thought a Light Ball boosted Discharge would have done more to type Null and oh my god, chill. I get it, you're angry. Now, I figured this thing had Pursuit, but the Tapu's blessed me once again and he didn't use it, so he went into Harry for free on Crush Claw. A couple of Bonemerangs later and goodbye Arceus' son. Sneasel, get the fuck out of here. Now calm down, buddy. Yeah, that's right. Apologize. Now before fighting Nanu, I leveled up Ginny and she's finally the colorful sludge we all know and love. But you need a dental checkup, girl. Nanu leads with Sableye and gets a Fake Out off, and the following turn we can get a Dazzling Gleam off as he Power Gems us. One more Dazzling Gleam from Minerva, and down goes Sableye. Surprisingly, Persian is out next, and I go straight into Ginny knowing he'll Fake us out. All he did was Power Gem, so I made sure to get him low with Poison Jab, and then Rock Tomb to lower speed, and to not knock him out. This way, I wouldn't have a Poison type out for Krokorok. Oddly enough, when I switched, he switched as well, so now we have this matchup. He did swagger us, but we did break out to Super Fang. From here, I snap out again, and holy moly, we got a crit with quick attack, and down goes the crook. All that's left is that Persian, and of course we miss quick attack, but another, and that's Nanu.
What the hell is even that?
All the way in Aether Paradise, trying to find Lily, we learn Thunderbolt at level 42, and I can finally evolve little old Ron into a true Weasley. Oh, and also we have to fight this fool again. Time to put Ron to the test. I protect like I always do, and then Nasty Plot as he swords dances. From here, a single bolt of thunder can kill this bug and this bug. Tough. Pinsir is his third, so I switch in a Harry who can tank a bug move. A single flame charge is enough to KO Pinsir. Wow. Those EVs in the thick club really put in work. This time though, Ariados has Sucker Punch, leaving us super low, but of course another flame charge can wrap this battle right up. Guzma, are you off your meds? Doc, here he is. Whoa, Lusamine must be taking what Guzma's take. Straight psychos. I like how everyone has this face of hopelessness and we're just smiling. Like, what do you mean, Green Freak? Now, I'm not too scared of bugs, but if I saw a huge-ass buff mosquito in front of me, I'm leaving my Pokemon to die. I'm not with that type of stuff. Alright, so for Lusamine, I led Ginny against her Clefable. 2 poison jabs is enough to KO, and right after her Milotic comes out, so I just poison jab away until it's dead. It did do damage to us, and Beware is out. No worries though, this fluffy bear can't touch Harry at all. She does switch into Miss Mages on my Flame Charge since the AI can't do anything to us, and she took a lot of damage from it. I do have to switch, so I go into Luna on a Power Gem, and I try to Sucker Punch. Of course, I miss not once, but twice. I can't make this up. I really should have put the wide lens on her. So now I switch into Hermione who can just Sucker Punch, but no! What does she do? She uses Mystical Fire. Why would she use Mystical Fire? On my Switch? Why? Make it make sense. She hasn't used Mystical Fire once. I love you, Hermione. And I'm sure Ron does too, considering he comes out to avenge her. How poetic. Lilligant comes out and I go into Harry once again, and you can imagine what happens there. And at last, Beware can meet his fate. After about 7 flame charges. Come on, Harry. You're a better wizard than that. Oh, don't run in there, you goofball. Seriously, what is he taking? Why is Gladion the one who gives me the Master Ball? And where did you even get it? Over on Poni Island, I can get our final encounter, Execute. Or I guess Executor, since I evolved it right away. I named him Dumbledore, and he is an impish nature. Hapu is our final grand trial, and it comes right before our last trial, so this was weird. But nonetheless, I led Dumbledore to start off against her own Hermione. Of course, a single energy ball, which I got from using Daddy Machamp, takes Hermione right out. For Flygon, since I know she was going to use Dragon Breath for super effective damage on Albus, I switched into Minerva. A single Ice Beam can obliterate Flygon in one hit. And her Mudsdale comes out. Our best switch here was Dumbledore, and an energy ball leaves him in the yellow as an EQ doesn't do much. One more and he can gallop back into his Pokeball. Gastrodon, do you even want to try? Honestly, she should have just saved your pain and suffering. You know, without Executor, this fight would have been pretty hard. You know, I have no idea how this thing outsped me. But regardless, a Twin Tackle is a one-hit KO for our last trial against Komao. It's actually the first time I've used a Z move in the whole run, which I probably should have used more. But anyways, so once we play a Flute and evolve Nebby into a Fearless Lion, we witness this. Lily has had it with her mother, and she is going off. Of course, there's me giving moral support as I always do, smiling no matter what. Honestly, this fight almost went the exact same way except for Dumbledore taking on Milotic and Ginny taking on Lilligant. Her boosted stats did nothing for her. Now before we head on to the Elite Four, Gladion wants to fight once more, and man was this brutal. Our Cross Poison does do a decent chunk to us as our Thunderbolt doesn't kill surprisingly, but thankfully the hail finishes off the bat. After this, Silvally comes out, and this thing has Crunch, so I have to switch into Ginny who tanked it. His multi-attack left us under half and our Crunch left him above half, so we're not sitting good. Fearing his Fire multi-attack, I go into Harry who can take it, and the following turn we eat a Crunch as our Stomping Tantrum finishes him off. Now here's where it gets scary. Weavile. I sent out Luna who came in on a Night Slash, and after an Ice Shard does a bit to us and we Super Fang him to half. From here I risked Luna's life, but we live on 15 HP as our Quick Attack leaves him in the red as well. I basically had no one to switch into because this thing outsped everything on the team and has an answer for everyone who's healthy. This was just poor planning on my part, and after deciding on what to do for so long, I decided to switch into Ron, but for some reason he switched into Lucario, probably to laugh in my face. From here I just used Psychic as he used Aura Sphere. We knocked him out and we were still in the same situation, so after thinking about it again for a long time, the only option was to sack Luna. So that's what I did. I sacked Luna so that Dumbledore could come in for free. I'm sorry, girl. Now with Dumbledore in, we barely live in Ice Shard and a break is enough to KO. You officially suck, Gladion. Ain't nothing glad about it. Don't talk to me again. Unfortunately, I didn't EV train my Pokemon because, well, I thought there was no EVs on trainers' Pokemon in base Sun and Moon, but I was wrong. You know, in Ultra Sun and Moon, there's no How fight here because he's the champion, but anyways, This man sends out his Raichu as usual, and I send out Albus to set up a light screen. You'll see why in a second. I go into our own Raichu and begin setting up nasty plots. Once he gets us in a citrus range, we pop the berry, and now we're +4 special attack. We wanted the light screen to not be too weak and or die. A Psyshock can kill using Raichu's physical defense instead of its special. Kamala gets bodied, Flareon as well, and Primarina doesn't stand a chance. I think I'm going to say this every time. Kukui, it's snowing. A lot. Put a damn shirt on. And it's gonna get frostbite. First Elite Four member is Hala. He leads Hariyama as I lead Harry. I Will-O-Wisp to burn him and then go straight into Dumbledore. We can get a Reflect Off, and after switching to Ron to set up with Nasty Plot. Once we're at +4, we can sweep his entire team. Bye Hariyama, bye Primeape, goodbye Beware, goodbye Owen, and sayonara Poliwrath. Next up is Olivia, who leads a Relicanth. Dumbledore can take care of this easy with an Energy Ball, and out comes Carbink. I set up a light screen immediately as she goes for Reflect. After, an Energy Ball almost gets him to half as he Moonblasts, which is why we wanted to have that light screen up. When we get him to Ren, I switch into Golem on her healing. From here, I set up Stealth Rocks as she Moonblasts, and then she reflects as a Heavy Slam. Once we get her into the red once more, she heals, and we do half this time, and holy moly, she left us at 5 HP. We eat a Citrus Berry, and another Heavy Slam gets a higher roll, so we end up killing. Roll passes her third, and I switch out Hagrid into Ginny to take an Earth Power. Now from here, I just switched into Harry since the Earth Power didn't do that much to Ginny, and I figured it wouldn't do that much to Marowak. And oddly enough, he actually used Thunder Wave, which we're immune to. So from there, I try to boost my speed with Flame Charge, and for some reason, she goes for Thunder Wave again. Maybe the AI doesn't read that I have Lightning Rod, but either way, I Flame Charge once more, and then a Stomping Tantrum to take out Steve Harvey. Lycanroc is up next, and we are faster now, so we can Will-O-Wisp for a burn, and the following turn, I go for a Stomping Tantrum, since we might be able to live a Crunch, but she actually goes for a Burn Heal. We get her to around 20%, and one more is enough to kill. Let's be real, Golem, you stand 0 chance. Sorry, Olivia, but you just got rocked. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. I fight Acerola next, and after she fakes out, I go for a Nasty Plot as she confuses us. I did put up a Risen Berry on Minerva to heal that, and a Dazzling Gleam destroys Sableye. Delmise is sent out next, which is just weird, but one Ice Beam is enough to KO that Anchor easy. Hallow-Sand obviously stands 0 chance. Frostlass is out, and she confuses us once again, and we actually hit ourselves twice in a row, so now I have to send in Ginny. She also gets confused, but we break through, and down goes Frostlass. For Drifblim, we snap out, and 2 crunches is enough to wrap this battle right up. Our last fight of the Elite Four is Kahili, and this is easy because we can just Will-O-Wisp with Harry and then go into Dumbledore to Reflect. Once that's done, we can go into Ron, who can start setting up. First, Ron uses Z Rain Dance to up our speed by 1 stage, and then set up with Nasty Plot. Honestly, I didn't really use that many Z moves this run. Her Skarmory ends up getting mopped, so do you as well. Goodbye, Crobat, and goodbye, Mr. Fruit Loop. That's it, we've made it this far. Now we must see what is awaiting for us in the chambers where the champion lies. Where's the champion? Ah, no. Professor Shirtless? Now, Kukui's team is pretty cool. He has a Lycanroc, and we trade Stealth Rocks on the field. He does try to get a Stone Edge off, but he misses, and a Heavy Slam almost knocks him out. After he heals, we leave him even weaker, and the following turn he Stone Edges us to above half our health, and we can finish him. Kukui sends out Snorlax next, and I switch into Albus to tank a high horsepower. From here, I Brick Break him to half as he Body Slams us into Citrus range and paralyzes us. We take one more Body Slam, and I get a Reflect Off. Now we can live one more, and I Brick Break him, almost killing. It's time to switch, and since he's going for Body Slams, I decide to just go into Harry, taking Stealth Rock damage. One Flame Charge can take care of him, and we get a speed boost. Of course, Incineroar comes out next, and we outspeed to get a Stomping Tantrum off, and just like everything else on his team, he lived on red. Come on, Kukui. With the Reflect Up, a Darkest Lariat left us at 30 HP, and the following turn we can kill Incineroar. Braviary is up, so I switch into Hagrid, who tanks a Brave Bird, and then we can Thunder Punch him to, you guessed it, red. Hagrid did dodge a Brave Bird though, so another Thunder Punch KOs and Ninetale comes out. I do just stay into Rock Blast, and thankfully he missed a big Blizzard, and our Rock Blast hits 3 times. So for the first time in all of this fight, we can kill something in one shot. Magnezone is the last Pokemon, and I just let Golem go down because there's nothing he can do. Forgetting Stealth Rocks were up on our side, I send in Harry, and yeah, he just dies. Not even magic could save him. Our next option is Ginny, and after a crunch, he goes for a Thunder Wave. Then we go for another, and that gets a defense drop as he goes for Thunderbolt. With that defense drop, we should be able to KO. What? Red again? Are you serious? He heals, and I go for another crunch. From here, we just die to a Thunderbolt, and I send in Ron. After a bunch of Thunderbolts and us living on 3 HP, we get him super low, and die. But it should be okay, right? I send him Minerva and he heals? He has 3 full restores? Alright, that's just broken. Well, from here we basically lose with Minerva dying and Dumbledore as well. Well, that's it, guys. We lost. All because we kept leaving him on red and him having 3 full restores. On top of that, I underestimated how much Stealth Rocks would do to me. I could have prepped a little bit more, and if I had saved Marowak for that Magnezone, we definitely would have won. Well, that's it, guys. Can I beat a hardcore Nuzlocke using Alolan forms only? No. Quite frankly, I can't. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, consider hitting that subscribe button for more. Let me know what you guys want next from me. My name is Jules. I also go by Gene, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.